So chemistry 2.1 and 2. So teach you a little bit of chemistry and teach you about a thing called reading between the lines. So I don't know if you picked up on this or not, but on Friday I was previewing the quiz, and one of the things that I did is said, make sure any chapter we enter a new chapter, you're aware of what the title of the new chapter is, and we'll be entering a new chapter for Monday. That is like tricky teacher code for the name of the chapter is the first question on the next quiz, without me coming straight out and saying that. I said it without saying it. And reading between the lines is, I said all that stuff, and your little student ears, if well trained, would have heard, that will be a question. That's a good college skill. A lot of college profs, if you just like listen to what they say, without telling you what's on the test, they will tell you what's on the test. But you have to like speak their code language. So that's practice for that. But question 1 is about measurement. I got that from right here where it said chapter 2, measurement. So someday when we get to chapter 3, maybe the title of chapter 3 makes a quiz. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. But I knew this one did. So that's why I said that down. 2 is coming from the margin, a thing called matter. If that seems familiar from physics, it's because we have that definition. 3 coming from the margin is mass. 4 coming from the margins here is weight. They did a pretty good job of highlighting those words. 5, you had to actually like read the section and grasp one of the points they were making. Mass is the same everywhere. So 5 is mass. Your mass on Earth, your mass on the moon, your mass on the sun, your mass wherever you may go is always the same. Your weight will change from place to place. Your weight will even change on Earth as you get closer and farther from sea level, which we explained sea level the other day. 6 came out of the margin, that is volume. I'll have an equation for you for the future to do volume, but they didn't do that in the book, so I didn't do that yet on the quiz, but it's coming. Temperature is coming out of the margin. They highlighted that one pretty well. The equation for density, they did not super highlight that, but I told you there was an equation, and that was the only equation you encountered, is density equals mass divided by volume. I just wrote D equals M on top of V. That'll work as well. But density equals mass divided by volume is a win. Then 9 and 10 was the last section where they were contrasting two things. There's English-based units, English-based system, something like that. And then there's the metric system, which is also known as SI. If they said metric system in one blank and SI in the other, I shouldn't give that, but I will, because they're really the same. And you really gave me the same answer twice. But metric system is the same as SI. That should fill one of the blanks. And then English-based should fill the other blank. Question about scoring that quiz.
So what was 9 and 10?
9 is English-based and metric. If you don't like saying metric, you could say SI. Question about scoring that thing. Okay, let's give those back to people, and then we'll preview what is coming up next. So what you're reading tonight is 2.3 and 2.4. There's only 5 points from the reading. So 2.3 is going to talk about temperature. 2.4 is going to talk about measuring devices. And there's a total of 5 points of you just telling me some stuff that you read. It's not fill in the blank. It's not like specific detail-y questions. It's kind of more like tell me stuff about temperature, tell me stuff about measuring devices. Like 5 total points. Kind of like that second quiz we took. It was all sort of open-ended. There were no specific questions. This is back to that open-ended style. Just read it. There should be, come out of it with like 5 facts. Just what you don't know is there 4 of this, 1 of that, 3 versus 2, 2 versus 3, 1 versus 4. How did I group it? But there's some stuff about temperature, some stuff about measuring devices. Total's 5. Question about the read part of that.
What is it like?
So
two-
5 points of reading. 2-3 is about temperature. 2-4 is about measuring devices like tools, and there's 5 total points. to
So the 2
draw
and
one
3,
of the
or
quiz.
3 and 4.
Sections 3 and 4, yes. Something there. Okay, then compared to today's, here's my switcheroos. So question 1 just stays the same. Question 2 will ask you what is matter. So you'd have to give me the definition for matter. It's anything that has mass and takes up space. Or you could say anything that has mass and volume, because volume we'll have in a minute is a synonym for space. But anything that has mass and takes up space is matter. 3 will go backward. What is mass? It's the quantity of matter, amount of matter, something like that. 4 will change. What is weight? So we're going to say force of gravity between the object and the planet, something like that. I don't think you need to mention satellites and go word for word on there, but mention gravity, mention planet, and you're headed very much in the right direction. So I said on mine, force of gravity between an object and a planet. Slightly different version of 5, I'll ask you, how is mass different than weight? So you tell me, how is mass different from weight?
Mass is constant, or weight can change.
Mass is the same everywhere. Yeah, weight can change from planet to planet. So for example, if you went to the moon, your weight would be much, much lower, because the moon is much, much,
Less gravity.
because it's
Smaller.
If you went to the sun, your weight would be much, much
Larger.
higher, because the sun is
Larger.
much, much larger. Go to the sun, you'd be like flat as a pancake. Go to the moon, everybody would be Duncan. Like, just different. Weight is different from planet to planet to planet. Volume, number 6. Volume's going to go backward. I'll just ask you, what is volume? It's the space that an object takes up. New question that didn't make the quiz at all. I'll ask for a formula to compute volume. So I'll spot you V equals, volume equals. Can anybody finish the thought there? Volume equals.
So density times mass.
Length times
Width
width times height. So you could go V equals LWH if you like, or you could use words, but volume is the length times the width times the height of a box like that. If it were like a sphere or a cone or something, there's other more complicated formulas. But assuming we're looking at boxes, we're going length times width times height is volume. 7's going to just disappear. 8's going to stay the same. Density equals mass divided by volume. Follow-up question. What would objects with greater density do? Sink. They'd sink in water. So something like a feather must have higher or lower density? Lower, because a feather can float. Something like a hammer
Sinks.
is going to sink, so that has a higher density. So things with higher densities sink, things with lesser densities float. 9 and 10 stays the same. I'll ask you for your 2 systems. One is English-based. The other, you can either say metric or say SI. SI stands for International System, but it was created in France, and they do their adjectives on the other side of the noun compared to America, so it's the System International. So SI for System International, but SI works for me, metric works for me. 2 good things about one of those systems. We're biased because we're English based in our culture, but the better system is, if we're honest,
Metric.
the metric system. Can anybody give me one thing that's a pro on the metric system? Because tomorrow quiz you'll need to give me 2.
Everything has to do with like tens.
It's all based,
100,000.
powers of 10 is true. That's one. So one good thing about metric system, it's powers of 10. Another good thing about metric system,
It's in Latin, so everybody can understand it.
maybe.
It's also useful.
Everybody
Used
else-
worldwide except for us.
Everybody else
Yeah,
uses it.
everyone else in the world but us uses the metric system. So that is a pro on the metric system. Powers of 10, and pretty much everybody but the US uses it. Here's like why, in my opinion, that's good. Like ounces in a pound, what's your number? 16. Why is that?
Because
knows.
the guy that wanted to.
Inches in a foot,
12.
12, because
No one knows.
no one knows. Pounds in a ton,
2,000.
no one knows.
I'm feeling like you guys is 2,000.
Feet in a yard,
3.
3. Inches in a yard.
36.
Okay, so we know those numbers. That's all just random nonsense numbers. I'm sure there was a reason why, but no one knows what they are anymore, and we're just kind of told, just memorize these numbers.
They like the
Metric
meter.
system. How many decimeters in a meter? 10. How many meters in a decameter?
10.
How many decameters in a hectometer?
100.
10.
10. Hectometers in a or in a kilometer?
10.
10. Everything's 10. Or if we do a couple skips, like
Like-
meters, centimeters in a meter is 2 patterns away.
100.
So that's 100. Millimeters in a meter is 3 steps away.
1,000.
So that's 1,000. It's all based on powers of 10, and all you have to do is memorize the prefixes. And in America, if you memorize all the like inch, yard, mile stuff, like how many feet in a mile? People even know that?
5,280.
Okay, so we're decent. If you learn all the inch, yard, mile, foot stuff, it does you no good when it's time to do like ounces, pounds, tons, which does you no good when you're into like cups and teaspoons and all that stuff. Like they're all just gallons, pints, quarts, all unrelated stuff. But in metric, if you learn the time, milliseconds until, now you're good on milligrams. And if you're good on milligrams, you're good on milliliters. And if you're good on milliliters, you're good on whatever else you'd want to measure. Once you learn the prefixes, you've got it made for every type of measurement a human being could need to do. Hence, the side quizzes we'll be doing the next few days is metric
Yeah.
quizzes. Hooray. So we'll do that, talk about that in a second, the side issue. Here's a 5-point question that if you've had physics, this is already up your alley, but 5-point question. What unit do we use to measure X, Y, and Z here in a second? So 5-point question for 5 categories. So you can jot it down while we talk. The unit for measuring mass is grams, which would include kilograms and milligrams and centigrams and all those other kinds of grams. But grams is the base unit for mass. Length, meters, including centimeters, millimeters, all those other kind of meters. Volume, liters, big capital L for liters. So mass is grams, length is meters, volume is liters. Density for solids or liquids is grams per milliliter. So I'm going to write that like a fraction. Grams per milliliter is density for solids and liquids. Because solids and liquids, it doesn't take a lot of volume to get yourself a gram. I believe a gram is like a paperclip. So it doesn't take you too much volume-wise on a solid or liquid to have something that with the mass of a paperclip. Gases is grams per liter. Gases are pretty spread out, so it takes a pretty large volume of gas to have a gram's worth of mass in there. So density of gases is grams per liter. Density of solids, liquids is grams per milliliter. One more new question, and then let me see if there's anything else I wanted to say. For 24, it's a 24-point quiz, so number 24 tomorrow, I'll ask you 2 units that are equivalent, equal, matching, whatever word you like there. 2 units that are equivalent when measuring volume. And it's that milliliters are the same as centimeters cubed, which are also known in medical terms as cc's. If you watch a lot of medical dramas, they're saying things like, bring 30 cc's of ibuprofen, stat. Stat just means fast. Cc's, what do you think cc stands for?
Centimeters.
Cubic centimeters. So the little 3, means cube. Cubic centimeters get abbreviated as cc's in medical terms, but those are the same as milliliters. So on and off through the book, there are days that they'll use these, and you might need to just kind of interchange one to make it more sit in the context of the problem. But 1 milliliter, which is probably like a drop of water-ish, maybe a little bit less. A drop of water might be a little less than a milliliter. That's the same as a cubic centimeter. That's the same as cc. Milliliters is probably what, if you take medicine, like little kid medicine in those little cups, you're usually measuring milliliters. Like 10 is a decent fill of the cup. The cup probably only goes to like 30 milliliters usually on those kid cups, I think. So like, 20, 10 milliliters, that's like those cups being filled like a third of the way up. But 1 milliliter would be not that much more than like a drop. Question about what I just described, how the quiz grows up from 10 to 24. Yeah.
What are the 5?
5 things were, with what unit do we measure mass? I'll say the thing, you say the answer. Mass was what? Grams. Length is meters. Volume is liters. Density for solids, liquids? Grams per milliliter. Density for gases? Grams per liter. Side notes. No, I think that's everything that I wanted to say. Other than, no, that wasn't that. I think we're good on that. Homework, there is none. If you look at the syllabus, what you'll see is an assignment that's in parentheses. When there's an assignment in parentheses, what that means is it's something that you know how to do, but it's not enough to count as an assignment that will turn in tomorrow. But if you want to get a head start on the next time we'll turn something in, you could. So like tomorrow it says 1 A to G and 2A. If you look in the book or just listen to me going in the book, when I go in the book to where the homework starts, 1 A to G is like all the definitions like we did in the last chapter. Matter, weight, mass, volume, temperature, density, metric system, that's what 1 A to G is. So if you wanted to answer those to get them out of the way while they're fresh on the mind and they're helping you study for the quiz, feel free. If you want to hold off on that until there's a little more to turn it in, you could. 2A asks you to distinguish between mass and weight. That's also something we just talked about today that makes the quiz. But just doing that little bit of vocab-y stuff, that's not enough to turn in as an assignment. The next day we'll include that and throw on like a little bit of mathy stuff, maybe, or at least maybe a little more vocab-y stuff. But we'll throw on a little bit more stuff, and then it's actually worth turning in. But tomorrow's not worth turning in. So if you see the parentheses around an assignment, that means you could start it, but it's not like an absolute necessity that you do it. It's more of a you choice. Question about that? Metric life. So I gave you the metric master version there that has every name and prefix. So the syllabus can direct you to the fact that we'll be taking metric quizzes the next few days. 1, 2, 3, 4 in a row for sure. So day 1, I'll give you the deci, centa, kilo prefix, and I'll mix them up. And you'll need to do the letter, which is easy. Why is the letter pretty easy?
Because it's the same.
It's just the first letter. Except for M's, we need 3 different M's because
So it's a capital, lowercase.
it's capital,
and
lowercase, and a Greek.
Greek.
Giga is a capital letter because it's a really big number, so is mega. Micro, we had to go Greek. The others, it's just the first letter, except for deca for some reason. Instead of going big D, which is what I would do, I'd have done little d and then big D. Deca, they do either DA or DK, and I don't care what you pick. I don't know what our book picks. I've seen that go either way between DA and DK, so hey, whatever. Our book doesn't even have that in there, so I don't, who knows. and then you would do the number. I could give you tips on memorizing the numbers if you want to, but some of us, we did these in geometry. We did these in 7th grade math. We did them in physics. For some of you, this is your 4th run at this. If you don't want the tips, I'll spare you. If you want the tips, I'd give them. Does anybody need tips on numbers? So tens, both of the tens, name me some other 10 words that you know.
Decade.
Decades have 10 years.
Dime.
Dimes have 10 cents. So anything D is going to be tens. So the fraction ones end with I. So deci ends in I, that's a fraction. Deca doesn't end in I, so that's not a fraction. Even Spanish, what's Spanish for 10? Probably starts with D. Diez.
Yes.
I know French, 10 is dix in French. 100, what are some 100 words you know?
Cien.
Yeah?
Cent.
Cent in dollars and cents.
Century.
Centuries, bugs.
Centipede.
Centipedes, all that cent stuff is 100. So centa is 100, it ends in I, so it's a fraction. Hecto is not the same kind of C word, but hecto starts with H and so does 100, so there's a tip. 1,000 words that you know in English. Millipedes, millenniums, Spanish 1,000.
No idea.
Anybody know?
Oh,
Mien. No.
Could be. French is mille, M-I-L-L-E. I bet Spanish is an M word. So
didn't get too far.
the 1,000 words
We stopped
are
at
often
like
M's.
100.
Milla is like millipede, and millennium ends in an I, so that's the fraction one. Kilo is your other 1,000 word. You might know from like K being used as an abbreviation in like computer memory, phone memory, or incomes. I make 60K a year, $60,000, like whatever, you know, K is a synonym there. The millions are all M's. Mega is million, micro is million, million starts with M. It kind of sounds like micro should be small, so it's a fraction. Sounds like mega should be big, like I bought the mega box at Walmart or Sam's Club. So mega is regular. And then we're running out of options. The other ones are billions. Giga is the big one that's billion. Nano is the tiny one that's billionth. But there's some like numbery tips. Well, day 1, I'll give the prefix, you do the others. Day 2, I give the
Symbol.
symbol, the letter, you do the others. Day 3, I do the
Mean.
meaning, the number, and you do the others. And day 4, I give you
Nothing.
nothing. But I do give you extra credit. So if you want to pencil in 2 bonus prefixes on here, what's a bonus prefix we've done before?
Pico.
Pico, P-I-C-O. The symbol for Pico, P-I-C-O, is
P.
a little p, lowercase p. And the number for that?
10 to the negative 12.
Yeah, you can take nano and put 3 more zeros on it if you like to write really long fractions. Or if you like abbreviations that 7th graders didn't know, you could write that one as 10 to the negative 12th. Nano would be 10 to the
-9.
negative 9. Micro, 10 to the
-6.
negative 6. How about mega? 10 to the
6.
positive 6. Giga, 10 to the
9.
9. If you like doing powers of 10 that way, feel
Wouldn't it
free.
be 1? Like 1 times whatever?
You can leave off the 1 times. Like
Oh,
1 times
yeah,
10 to
yeah,
the
yeah.
6th is just 10 to the 6th.
Yeah.
Other extra credit one?
I'm thinking.
Femto, F-E-M, like M&M candy, F-E-M-T-O. Symbol is little f, lowercase, and the meaning?
It's a negative 15.
10 to the negative 15. Or throw 3 more zeros onto the fraction, 6 more zeros more than Nano had. 6 bonus points early in chem will go a long way. So if you throw down 20, 20, 20, and 36, that's really going to cushion your grade for a rainy day and establish yourself in a very strong early year position, I would hope. And I think that's it for me. Question about little, one other item, loose end, the chapter quiz is due today. Did anybody from doing the chapter quiz need any help? The chapter quiz had like problems 1, 2, and 3. Did anybody need help with problems 1, 2, or 3?
PK. Good thing you're playing football.
So we can shut that down.